You say?
Huh? Islam, Mars. Peace, Mars, let's rise. I'll face the east. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Peace.
Freedom.
And
justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide. And my salvation. By night. By day. Through His holy prophet. Noble Drew Ali. Islam. Start with our readings to be read every meeting.
I keep forgetting my Quran out of my other bag, bro.
Too much bags. Prophet warns all Muslims. Prophet warns all Muslims. Governors ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work in their homes or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their temple and the prophet. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Noble Drew Ali. Islam. To be proclaimed at every meeting. Islam. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim that I was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works which I have performed in the past few years. Prophet Noble Drew Ali. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam. This is the instruction from your Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you would be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on, but the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I, Noble Drew Ali, and that's why many hearts have been turned to stone. Many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear, lest they would be confounded of their sins. These are trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but would sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah would bless you for your good work. Peace, your divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam. Now, I just wanted to read something Amor sent me earlier today. We should get people's thoughts on this. This is from Marcus Cicerno, 43 BC, of the Roman Empire. The poor work and work. The rich exploit the poor. The soldier protects both. The taxpayer pays for all three. The banker robs all four. The lawyer misleads all five. The doctor bills all six. The goons scare all of the seven. The politician lives happily on account of all eight.
Can we unmute the person again, please?
Right. Marcus Cicero, 43 BC. The poor work and work. The rich exploit the poor. Yo, you have your headphones back there?
Yeah. Certainly.
The poor work and work. The rich exploit the poor. The soldier protects both. The taxpayer pays for all three. The banker robs all four. The lawyer misleads all five. The doctor bills all six. The goons scare all seven. The politician lives happily account of all eight. 43 BC. And obviously that's still going on right now today. That's still going on. And to look at the idea that was Roman, and the time that we're living in now is the same stuff they were talking about back then. Obviously we're dealing with it's the same people. Right?
History repeating itself.
History repeats itself.
Continuous.
Right? Perpetually repeating itself. Right?
French style.
Yeah.
As you read before, I think you read earlier in another sentence, you were saying that he that hasn't eyes to see, let them see, you that haven't ears to hear.
Yeah.
So that's it right there. 'Cause people are not waking up, people are still in a trance or,
Yeah.
they're not really in time. It's going to be like a nightmare.
Yeah. Majority of them.
That's what they're afraid of.
Yeah.
It's letting go
The reality.
of
Yeah.
what it is and coming to the reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they don't want to let go of what they have, but they know it's improper. But they don't want to lose it.
Well,
Yeah.
Because when you let go, you're free.
exactly.
Yeah.
Then you understand what's going on.
What's really
When you
going
let go,
Yeah.
then you realize.
And it's the same thing that they say, you have to empty before you could full. You have to give up some stuff. You keep thinking that it's just you're just gonna keep fulling, when you start overflowing, now you're wasteful. You're not really taking advantage of it.
Because when people, you see, when people address me and say that it's a pandemic, I say, no, it's a pandemic. This thing was planned way back when. It's just coming out. It's fulfilling exactly what they said is happening, right? And they put it scare. Some people are so scared that they can't even think straight.
Yeah.
Because for me, I'm kind of one of those people that like to break certain rules. So they say wear a mask. Yeah, I put something over here and get in the store.
Right.
When I get in the store, I take the mask off.
Right.
So I'm free. And somebody will come and say, cover your nose. I'm like, mind your own business, don't you have a mask covering yourself, right?
Right.
Because really and truly, when you think about that mask, you're breathing in carbon dioxide, you're supposed to be breathing that out.
Right.
So you're poisoning yourself in a sense.
But see, but why they do that? So now you can't blame them.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
You can't blame them now.
And people don't
Right?
understand.
You have to blame yourself.
You need it to come out, you know.
Right.
You need it to come out.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You know, they're like
But
yesterday-
it's the same thing with the crack scene.
Well, listen,
That the
yesterday-
people are going to line up voluntarily. They're going to go line up.
I'm telling you, yesterday I had a conversation with a gentleman. I was, I was talking about facts and cryptocurrency and whatever it is, and he's like, "Oh, I'm very skeptical. I'm very skeptical, and I'm not going to do this." I said to him, "Did you take the vaccine?" He said, "Oh yeah, I did." He said, "Did you take the vaccine?" I said,
No, you have to say crack scene, because if you say V, the online stuff picks up, and then they shut
crack
down
scene,
your
okay.
yeah. So crack scene or
Okay, crack
vaccine or something, anything except V.
Okay, every time we have to come in, okay, absolutely, yeah. So I was just saying to him, "Did you take your crack sleep?" Like, yeah, did you take it? I said, "No, I'm not putting that in my body." What are you talking about? He said, "We have to travel." And I am traveling, I'm not taking that thing. Okay. So I said, "Did you did a research on the crack scene?" He said, "No." I said, "Well, you put that in your body, right?"
Yeah.
I'm like, right there, he's like, so when I was giving him some points, he's like, so now he said that he took the first one, but the second one. This is what people really, the fear that people put into that. You can't work your job, you can't go there, you don't have to. It's crazy. People really need to wake up, man.
Yeah.
But it's
Wake
not
up
the
time.
employers putting that out. It's the people within the system talking about it. The employer never said anything about that.
Yeah, but
If you listen, it's the people are saying, "Oh, we're gonna have to take this to work. I'm like, the people upstairs never said anything.
Yeah.
Why you putting it out there?
Yeah.
Now you putting it in the ether
Yeah.
for them to hear and
Yeah.
say, "Okay, we gonna make some money now. We
There's
gonna
a
make some
brother-
finance."
There's a brother that we know right now. He has a good enough, job, right? He's a Moor. He knows about his nationality or whatever, and he works in that industry where you have to get tested and whatever. That gave them his exemption. Went to talk to, like you said, do the meeting with the higher ups or whatever, and now everybody in the whole place is mad now. How come he doesn't have to do stuff? Right? How come he doesn't have to do stuff? It wasn't him. It was you signing up for it. When they didn't say mandatory anything yet, they didn't say mandatory anything. It's, well, you might not be able to do this. Oh my gosh, we go get it. All right, and I guess if that's how you're looking at it.
I just said, they're volunteering to go do these things. Like they just diving in, man. I saw them pass somewhere over all the lines, I saw they put something on my door, that we don't. They're trying to see who is interested in taking this thing. That's true. That's but something. I don't even want that thing close by me. So.
In Virginia, they were giving out guns,
Yeah. They're giving people lottery tickets, all types of madness.
So you put a good go and get an MR-15, and so they want to see how much of it, because the Republicans, they're not taking it.
Yeah.
All of these guys are taking it.
No, but mostly the Republicans, as the guy said, is sent over 75 million. And we have this, and we're not taking it.
Exactly. But then again, the big guys, so like, the Jamaican Prime Minister, he said, "Oh, come on, man, give it. And you can see, he didn't take it. But they're like, "Oh, yes, it's real." It's all fake. And people like just falling for that. Actors.
Yeah. You ever saw the movie Truman Show?
Yeah,
Truman Show.
Sure. Right.
It's an old movie with Jim Carrey in it. That's what we're living through right now. Truman Show. Yeah. So you find that one online. That's a good one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna remember Henry Truman.
Yeah.
You're gonna remember Truman.
They set themselves up for it. They set themselves up for it.
Sure.
It's called True and
Truman.
Like Henry Truman, the president.
And what you were saying too with the whole thing with the republic,
Yeah.
that you have to remember that the idea of forms of government is not our realm. So Republican is just another synonym for foreigner. Democrat is a synonym for foreigner. Liberal, conservative, Green Party, whatever stuff that they make up, it's so that they don't get called a foreigner. Because once they get called a foreigner, then somebody has to be who they were, which is the white people or the American or the inhabitants of Canada. That's not Europeans.
Yeah.
The first inhabitants of Canada is not the people who we see that's drunk or whatever walking up and down here.
Those are the $5 people.
Those are the people that came later.
Yeah.
And everybody else is us. Right? Actually, in the this is Canadian Encyclopedia, when they're talking about the enslavement of Indigenous people in Canada. To a tremendous extent, the enslavement of Indigenous people defines slavery in Canada. Fully 2/3 of the slaves in the colony of New France were Indigenous. After 1750, the number of Indigenous slaves brought into French Canada began to decline. When slavery was abolished in British colonies in 1834, Black slaves far outnumbered Indigenous slaves. See also Black enslavement in Canada. The enslavement of Indigenous people is part of a dark legacy of colonization that has implications on generations of Indigenous people in Canada and throughout North America. So the black slaves far outnumbered the Indigenous slaves. If the black slave outnumbered the Indigenous slaves, and we're talking about up here, and they're talking about the only way slaves came up here is because they escaped from down there.
Yeah.
How are there more black slaves than Indigenous unless both of them are the same people?
Right. Because they couldn't differentiate. Like I come South America, Guyana, right?
Yeah.
And they say the forced slaves came in 1610. Now I understand because I learned in the real
You're learning now.
Yeah. My grandparents are telling me they come from French, we call Cayenne.
Yeah.
They travel through the back. This is what all our ancestors are telling us. We came through the back. So they call the back route is let me say, it's like we call it New River. It's like a Kanji River. So they say that time, Kenya. They came through that back. They settled there and then they moved inwards. So now when you realize, when they say Indian, it's indigo. And they were talking about some people that, they look, like we say, we like say, you mix. I don't know why we like come up with this theory. Once we see a black person with flowing hair, we say, you mix.
Yeah, as if we don't have
like
all that. Yeah, we can't create that. Yeah.
That's my grandmother tell me, stop this here thing. We come with different texture. And so they came and mixed, and you know what they say? They mixed with the Congo man. So now I'm putting it together. Those people they brought, the slaves, they gave them a name. They call them Congo man and Fula. If you get me, they say you're Fula man. So if you're a Muslim in Guyana, they call you a Fula. It's the Fulani.
Right, yeah.
So they were breaking it.
Yeah.
So now with what I know and then putting it together, I'm like, we were there.
Now this is the question now. The question now, being that you're from that, right? Have they talked about them coming across Atlantic Oceans to be there?
That's what I'm saying. They came through the back.
Right.
It's like an inland river. It's like say you come up the Mississippi and you went to
right.
If you say you went to Chicago or you in some way of the.
Yeah.
It's an inland river.
Mm-hmm.
They came up, stop at a point where we call a place of light, canyon,
Mm-hmm.
and from there they disperse.
Right. And they didn't look like the $5.
No, they look Somali like, you know,
Yeah.
and they like blue indigo
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Till now they're blue indigo.
Yeah. Still.
Yeah, and then she said, she said the Portuguese came in and mixed with them. And what 2 generations later gone.
Yeah. It's not lasting long. Yeah. It's definitely not lasting long. Yeah.
Because my grandfather,
Yeah.
he is Portuguese, right?
Mm.
My father married my mom. Look at me.
Yeah.
In God.
Yeah. It's not even there.
It's not there no more.
Yeah.
But the thing about it, I didn't even know Portugal.
Yeah.
Portugal was part of that.
Yeah.
Those people.
No, I just got a poster. I just got some posters. You just replaced mine from the house. You just replaced mine from the house. What that word? Yeah. Yeah.
So what you see, as they say, history and law go together. There's another learning.
Yeah.
So it's when you start to come into the reality, it starts to get easy.
Mm-hmm.
But now you just have to put it together.
Yeah.
And this is where we come in now.
Yeah.
This with the prophets Noble Duali saying that this is who we are. We're not black, Negro, colored. We have a nationality.
Yeah. And if you have any questions, you can put those
my
up.
question is, because I noticed they will say once you use that surname of the Inquisition college, then you give up your right as you give up your nationality. Let me say my name, surname Williams.
Yeah.
So when I go and say Casey Williams, from the time I say Casey Williams, boom, I already hand myself over.
Right.
Because I denationalized myself by using that statement.
Yeah. And just like the thing with the mask, that way they can't take blame.
You see?
They didn't do it.
Yeah.
You did it.
Yeah.
You're the one who did it. You're the one who went and got the birth certificate. You're the one who went and got the social and the license and the passport and the whatever. Nobody made you. They said, there's a thing on the wall, take one of those things off the wall, or they slide it to you on the desk, and then you take it and you fill it on, you give it back, and then everything's good. And you think that I just got a social, or I just got a bank card, or I just got, when that's not what you just did. You just sold yourself.
If you didn't know that, okay, for example, you're saying you did the social, you did driver's license. You never know that.
Yeah.
You never know, because you were born up
Right.
you were taught a different way. So you go right into that. If you don't know and you got yourself into that.
Right. So that's why the brother was saying that history and law go together. Right. So the history is you existing. Right. The law part of it is that there's a maxim that ignorance is no excuse. So even if you didn't know, you should have known. If you didn't know, it's a pill like this that you're gonna have to crush up first and all that stuff, because we can't say we didn't know. Even though we want to say we didn't know, and it should be, well, if I didn't know, you can't say it's my fault or whatever. But you could actually say it's your fault because you should have known. And then your mom should have known, and her mom should have known, and going down the line, everybody should have known, because in 1913 to 1929 with Noble Drew Ali, everybody knew. And that was 1930s. that all of a sudden everybody stopped knowing who we are, and then we start knowing that we're black and African and Fulani and we're all these tribes of the indigenous whatever, and we're from all these different islands, and just like that, it's just absolutely out of our mind of who we are. When there was at a time in the Americas where our people knew who we were. Even going down into South America and all that, they knew who they were. You know, they weren't absent-minded of who they were. You know, so when we, this is the whole thing of us getting into this information so we could know now. And now that we know, we're gonna make sure that stuff is not happening again in our generation and in generations that are going to be coming behind us. Because we can't say that we didn't know, right? So now that we know, you know, you go through all your different forms of identification or whatever that you got from these people who you don't really know them. Now, you don't really know them like that, but you're gonna go to their office, fill out a form, get a this, get a that.
For sure.
You know who these people are.
You know they're not from.
And mindful of your signature.
Yeah.
The signature is the most important.
Yeah. Nora, you had something?
Yeah, no, I was saying, when you're saying that, like, ignorance to knowledge is no excuse.
Mhm.
Because to this minute, I could never I never met someone, especially like one of us from South back in Jamaica, that doesn't know about the slavery. They all know about the slavery.
Mm.
They all know about it.
Mhm.
That means you know it's not yours, so you know. Don't say you didn't know. You know. It's just like Malcolm X with whatever he goes through and whatever he know. You know it wasn't right, so he said put X or call me X. Give me something X. In other words,
You're not gonna use
give me something different from the slavery.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want that. So ignorance to not knowing, you know. Don't say you don't know.
Yeah.
I never met somebody that said they don't know that we have slavery.
Mhm.
Because they all know that part.
Yeah.
Christian name and this surname, we know that.
Yeah.
So now we're supposed to move up to the next level.
And that was the issue, that nothing was done
Yeah.
to correct that, which is what you were talking about earlier with the name correction and whatever, that's what it is. It's not, you know, you find out about this information that you're not black and you're just gonna go run over there and get a card from some guy because he's selling cards. Or that guy down there, he's selling a Moorish passport. You're gonna go to him and get it just because, you know, well, he says that if I have this, then that means I'm more. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't mean that. Because if you're still handling all the affairs and it's not in the name that you just said I got this ID for, then you're committing fraud. You know what I mean? You know, and there's a way to maneuver. There's a way to transition from the slave name to it's not just going to be one thing, because there's history of you using this name.
Yeah.
And that's what the colonist is going to go back to. When you start waving around stuff and thinking that means that you know what I mean, you did it because you went over here and bought a card from somebody. That's not what it is. You know, it's a correction for a reason. And then that's why they always say, if you want to go to them, Canada, United States or whatever, that you could change your name with them. You can't correct. With them you could change. But then when you change with them, you're changing everything. So you can say a Moorish name because you went to them to change it. But now you have a Moorish name on a birth certificate, Moorish name on a social, Moorish name on a whatever, Moorish name on all these stuff. And then you have a nationality card with Moorish name, and they're still not going to let you use this if you have those. Right?
Wow.
And any questions whatsoever, you could throw those out today.
As noticing Edwin's.
Yeah. He said he was going to email. Yeah, I'm checking the email right now.
It's like a ball of tears of happiness.
Yeah.
It's one of the seeds he planted, like, you know.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Any questions? I know you got some. I know you got some. I know you got some. Throw them all out.
Well, I was thinking like what type of commitment I would be making if I were to commit myself to this. I know that some people like, for instance, change their license plate because there are more.
Right.
Is that like something you have to do, or I want to know like what I have, like how I navigate.
Yeah.
this.
Right. So, like we're talking about, the first thing is the correcting the mindset. So we majority of times push the perspective of get some information in you first before you start changing stuff and doing stuff and filling out stuff or whatever. You know what I mean? Get a baseline of what this is. You know what I mean? How to study, what type of tools to use to study. You know, you're gonna get yourself, dictionaries and stuff like that. You're gonna look things up that before you would bypass because you didn't even care what it meant. You know what I mean? But now you really realizing that, well, the language is really how they're ruling over us. So knowing what things mean is an important part of it, more than having your own plate. Having a idea of what Noble Drew Ali brought and what he presented, who he is worth more knowing than having your own plate. How to do that? Because certain things are primary and certain things are secondary. The things that we think that we're gonna get, like have plates and cards and all that stuff is secondary, right? There's things that are pre that. So another thing, for example, is allegiance. That if you say that you're going to be a member of what we established here, right? As far as Moors, you know what I mean? Living out here, knowing that we're Moors, and we have a temple, and we have a barbecue every year, and we have a Noble Drew Ali event every year, and we might do a street cleaning, we might do a feed the hungry, we might do whatever it is that we do. You know what I mean? The commitment is, are you part of uplifting fallen humanity? Like, that's the real commitment, right? The commitment is, are you willing to put in the time that it takes for you to know whatever? Are you willing to put in the time it takes that it's going to take to get some stuff done? Because we realize where it is with our people right now, and it's not looking too good for them. So are we going to keep chasing after that stuff, or are we going to focus on something that we can actually get something tangible now? And the commitment part of it also goes in line with how are you supporting? Like we have, for example, we have dues for here, right? And the dues is based on, we got lights, we got AC, you know what I mean? You got washroom downstairs, you got some drinks, so
Internet?
right? You got internet, people got Wi-Fi, they're gonna go to Tim Hortons, get Wi-Fi, they might go to some place, they gotta pay $3 an hour for Wi-Fi, you know what I mean? But certain things are sort of taken care of because of people saying, okay, well, I'm gonna commit 100 a month, but I'm only gonna commit 25. Well, I can't commit 25, I could commit, you know what I mean, doing the floor. I could commit painting. I could commit, you know what I mean, whatever it is that they got that's going to make this be something more than what it is when they came in. You know what I mean? So somebody who comes into it in a year, they should be able to look back and say, oh yeah, we added on to what was going on. If everybody takes the commitment from that perspective, that if we want it, we have to build it. It's not going to be some people out there that's going to do it for the Moors. I was talking to some Moors about this yesterday. Like, people come to this thing, or they're looking from the outside, and well, where's the Moorish fire department? And where's the Moorish police force? And where's the Moorish hospital? Well, if the Moors are whatever, where's the Moorish building that says Moorish building on it? So we know that's the Moorish building. You know what I mean? It's not.
I was telling my friend about like
Yeah.
this stuff based on what I understand, and he was like, "Okay, how are they gonna help us like protect us if they don't have like an army?" But I'm like, first of all, there's different types of wars that are being fought
Mhm.
right now, and I was also it's like if you're not even willing to like be a part of something that you're asking, oh, why is it on this and why is it on that, but you're not even willing to like look into it
Right.
or like help build it. I understand it. It's like how are we gonna get anywhere?
Yeah.
So it's like,
Right. We're gonna get where the people take it. Right? We're gonna get where the people say they want to go. You know what I mean? And that's based on an individual and the part that decide to do in order for it to be whatever they see it as it's supposed to be. It's not what anybody else sees because everybody's looking at this through their own lens. You know what I mean? You know, so the man who's the carpenter should want to die doing carpentry for the nation. The lady who got her PSW degree is going to be the one starting the hospital or whatever the case is. You know what I mean? Because that's what she could bring or he could bring to it. You know, once the people realize what it means to have a nationality, they'll take it like it's supposed to be taken. You know, like we look at the example we like to use is either the Punjabis or Asians, any Asians, right? Doesn't matter where it is that they go in the world, they're gonna have a community there. That when they go there, their people know where to go to get their food, their drinks, their girls, their whatever it is that they want. They have their place that they can go. Even though everybody has their stuff or whatever like that, and then those nationals aren't even concerned with other national stuff. They don't even care. Matter of fact, majority of the other nationals are coming to them. You know what I mean? But you don't see them go outside to other people to get stuff. Right? They always go to their own. That's a national mindset.
actually, so I don't know if you know about that pastor that got arrested because he was like having church services.
No, I didn't hear about that.
Okay, so there's this pastor that got arrested for trying to break COVID. Have a bigger church setting.
Right.
And then I seen he got arrested, but then I seen a post saying that this Muslim community was open, but there was like a lot of people there, and the news, and nobody was saying anything.
Yeah.
They're not getting in trouble.
Yeah,
Or anything,
yeah.
But they were just there. They had their temple, and they were just
Yeah,
doing their thing.
yeah.
So I don't know if that's like,
So there's two sides of it. One side of it is that remember that majority of the religious institutions that are part of the cities all over the world, they took a part in being a outlet for people to come get their little shot. So them being open can't really be looked at like because they're being defiant or whatever like that, or you know what I mean? That's their boy. You know what I'm saying? They could have said, well, you know, we'll let you have as much people as you let get the shot. Well, if that's the case, then if our congregation is 500 and everybody got the shot, then we're good to be open. You know what I mean?
And that's it right there, because you know the people that get people would say no, we don't want a shot. The people like that.
Yeah, that they're willing to take it. Yeah.
It's really crazy
Yeah.
that you brought that up, because I'm like, okay, I have a friend in England, and she's a pastor, and she's asking me, did you get your vaccine?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
it is, and I'm like, no. She's like, yeah, you know, I got mine. my pastor, God to the elder pastor, God, and my doctor together. I'm asking them, hold on, if you guys really talking about the Bible, isn't that the mark of the beast? Like, come on. Like, oh, no. If the Bible said if you put anything poison inside of you will protect it. I'm like, come on. For me, and when I was growing up, that I would believe, to a T
Yeah.
what I was taught. So I'm saying to her, what I believe from that is that if you're walking down the street and a car coming from behind you, then you will be protected because you can't see anything.
Yeah.
But if you walk into that car, surely you're gonna get hit.
Right.
You'll be taught a lesson.
Mhm.
Either you're gonna die or you're gonna live to tell the tale that next time you're gonna say, listen to me. That's fire, don't walk into the fire.
Mhm.
Right? So these people, as I say, I mean, they open up the congregation and this place is full of, come on, guys, come on and take a shot. Come on.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
When it's the leaders, the ones that they assume have the authority and telling them it's okay. And yet you're gonna follow them, and then when the problem comes, they're gonna say, is he making? He said, no, you have a choice. We all talk about having choices.
They step away.
Yeah.
You're on your
And
own.
then we talking about, and the sister was talking about asking the question concerning what we gonna with the objective.
Mhm.
We have to come together. We have to be more. We have to understand our nationality. We have to understand our birthright because our
Yeah.
birthright.
Before we do anything.
This is our when you're born into a nation. We must understand the nation. You see, this is what we didn't know. You see, no, but you gotta get it. As you said, the Chinese, they don't call it a yellow man either.
Yeah.
They have we call it Chinatown, and we all go there and shop.
I
Right?
would say every city in North America has a Chinatown.
Everyone, bro. It's
It's
crazy.
established.
It's crazy.
So now, we now, as a group, we start here, but we got to build.
Yeah.
It's about building. And then we're gonna figure out, as you say, but it takes finance.
Yeah.
Those that have more, give more.
Yeah.
Do.
That's the only way it's gonna balance. That's the only way it's gonna balance out.
You know,
Yeah.
brother was breaking down something. I think in Gambia, he was speaking. He said the fastest 100 meter is 9.58 seconds. But he said a group of people run faster than that. 9.21 seconds.
Yeah.
The Jamaican relay team that broke the world record.
Mm-hmm.
Usain Bolt by himself run 9.58. But that time they take them to go around the clock, each back individual was 9.21 seconds.
Yeah.
Now think about that. You see what we can do together.
Yeah.
But it brings us back to who we are. And we're gonna do it as a nation.
Yeah, and we really have to start, as I said, there's a Chinatown everywhere you go. I work into the, I don't know if you guys knew of the Afro-Century Cultural School when it came in 2009, and I volunteer my time. I volunteer my time in that school because I said, too many of our young Black kids has fallen through the cracks, especially with the boys, right? So I was there, and I remember there's a hair store in the vicinity. So we were doing a gala for the school. So I decided, I'm just going to go out and I'm always about peace for them. So I would go out and donation, collect donation. And when we went to that store, the gentleman said, no, we don't have any donation to give. So I said, what do you mean you guys don't have any donation to give? You're in this neighborhood you are. First of all, let me just turn my back to you guys because they were up there. I said, look around you. Do you see any of you guys color in your buying from you? What's going on? Because we are spending the money here to build you up, and you can't give us a donation. I flipped. So the guy said, oh, okay. They said, okay, they're gonna give us a donation. So they went to the back of the store and they came back with some things that already used. You know, like somebody come and test something.
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, what do you want? God, I just.
But see now this is part of the issue that our people's perspective is that those people are racist or they don't like us or whatever. But in order for them to be in the country of Canada, they have to agree to deal with us like that.
Yeah, you see?
They have to agree that when you see the niggers, you just put up a building and put a little hole in the door and tell them push money through. You don't deal with them in any other way. This is the other nations, which is why when we start wearing fezzes and stuff like that, we're walking up in these places and they're looking at us like, oh, take the store. You know, the stuff is free. You could go in the fridge, take anything that you want. And then a brother's gonna come in right after him and follow him around the store. Go every aisle, follow him up and down the place. Because there's a difference. Because there's a difference.
I get that because I'm just saying this to say that I open my mouth and say, guys, you guys gonna be, give us something inside it.
Yeah.
So lo and behold, you know what they did? They said, okay, can you guys come back to work? The manager wasn't here. So I said, sure, we'll come back.
Yeah.
Because I'm coming back. You're gonna give me a donation.
Yeah.
So they came back and they said, okay, they're gonna give us the guy wanted to give us $200. So they said, okay, can I give you a check or you want cash? See, I'm gonna say cash. I don't want the check because I'm not sure if you're going to write up a paper and give me and it's not real.
Yeah.
Right? So they decided, okay, they just gave us the $200. Right. But if I just walk out there and so people don't understand and people like no, don't shut me up, right?
Yeah. No, but that's the thing. The whole thing of the shutting up is because we actually are in error. They're not wrong for looking at us like that. They're not wrong for going in the back and bringing out the chitlins and saying, here's dinner, here's the chitlins. And you're talking about, what do you mean you're giving me the chitlins? I see you guys got, you know what I mean, all types of beautiful food in there or whatever like that. You're going in the back to give me some chitlins. How come? Because we're niggers to them, right? So the defense that we make is really a emotional response to something that we can't really see all different parts that make everybody look at black people like, forget them. We ain't concerned with them. We ain't worried if we don't care if they shoot each other in their own neighborhood. Don't bring that over in our neighborhood or whatever like that. You know? Right. You know? So it's a transition that we have to make in our mindset that the individuals like when we look at, for example, when one of the things that this is years ago, I went with this sister to go do her nails, and then I'm sitting there the whole time, and all I'm hearing is and laughing or whatever, and I'm like, hold on a second, so I wonder what these people are talking about or whatever, while they're filing down these people's nails and all this. People don't look like them, you know what I mean? And then this is in the blackest community or whatever. You tell me not one of these people out here getting their nails done said, hey, well, start up a nail store so we can do our own nails. And we don't even have to worry about racism with these people and them not doing stuff right, and that wasn't the right color and the filler's wrong. And you can't be complaining at the same time when you know stuff could be better, but you're not doing it to make it better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know? It's a reality check that we're getting from them when they react a certain way. It's a reality check that we're getting. We're not seeing it like that. We're seeing it like, oh, these people are mean or they're racist or they're prejudiced, or it's not that. It's that everybody in the world has been conditioned to think that the Negro, black, coloreds in the Americas and the islands, all they are is slaves, and that's it. And slaves don't get any respect. Slaves don't get any honors. Slaves don't get anything but mistreatments and abuses and everything that they don't want.
And because you were one of the determined, say why you get that $100.
But I think, say it
I
again?
said, because you were one of the determined slaves, why you get that $200 they give you that.
Right. Because they know you have a right to burn their store down, because they're in your community, and they should be rolling out the red carpet when you start coming around asking for donations. You know, but they know that they can't do that.
Not as the status you come in.
Because if they do that, they're gonna be in error now. Because you're not supposed to treat a slave like a human being. You're supposed to treat a slave like a slave.
And they know.
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah.
They see you when you're wearing your feather, your turban. They know, because they're gonna come and ask you.
Yeah.
Like, why do you got that on? They know. They know why you have it on. They just want to see what you know.
Whether you know or not.
That's why you have it on.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because what the brothers say was identifying, like, and they say they know about us before they come.
Mm-hmm.
All our places that we as established before we were denationalized, and the brothers say we were denationalized in Philadelphia, 1774, right? They know who we are. They go into Morocco, they go into all these, they go into Turkey, and they see, wait, this is the same people. So they're like, oh, they don't know about this. People say, oh no, these guys don't know about this. But you see, we locked into one place and we're not focusing on who we were.
Mm-hmm.
Now when we say reverence the ancestors, find out about our ancestors to know who we stand upon.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we think it's spookism when you try to call the ancestors. You know, they tell us this is spook. This is
yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
What do they say? Commonly they say, to know where you're going, you have to know where you're from to know where you're going.
Yeah.
If you don't know where you're going, if you don't know where you're coming from, you don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
Right.
Who you be.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know,
Yeah.
On the platform, they make you want to think that you come
be
from
the
that.
original.
One of the Moors put in the chat, a brother from the east, right? Somebody from over there, right? Wherever, it doesn't even matter. He's not from over here. He saw the Moor, and the Moor had a pendant on relative to Morocco. And the brother from the east asked the Moor, which Morocco are you from? Over there or over here?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right? No. Which Morocco are you from? Over here or over there? Now, to the average individual, that's not going to matter. That this guy from over there knows that over here is Morocco. You know, we've been taught that Morocco is only over there in North Africa, and that's it. But somebody from over there is over here telling somebody here, no, we're not. We're in Morocco over here.
I just talked to one guy that was coming here, Saeed. He's from Morocco. He's somewhere in the Feds. And there you go. We start talking, you know, telling about the kingdom, the empire, that's how it is, and whatever you understand. And but he said he never see, first time he see someone with a fez, he never see nobody.
Yeah.
And he had a shirt too, with a kind of a fez picture of the cartoon thing. But that fez has a little rim around it.
Yeah.
The shirt. And then he see me with my fez, and that was it. We get off at the bus there and we exchange numbers, and he said, you gotta come here when you gotta come.
Yeah, yeah.
So he recognized me to see me. The fez. He's from Morocco.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, you know, this is Morocco. Say, yeah, you understand how it is.
Yeah.
I don't know, we were talking about just now, I was saying something.
Yeah.
A brother from Morocco actually asked me why I was repping his flag, the Moroccan flag, the country's flag, and such and such.
So then I went to RBB. I got the letter from George Washington showing that giving us Congress to be making them Congress to be here.
Yeah.
Then I sent them the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Then I sent them something else from the Library of Congress showing them some more stuff. And it's just like, let me see, Alhamdulillah. Some of them over there.
Yeah.
That's what you know, like, all right.
Yeah, when you get him to Alhamdulillah, you got him. You got him.
The courts here know, like, I'm not even going to argue with this.
Yeah, you got him. Straight. Any other questions? Throw them all out. Yeah.
Well, one thing is I know the media, of course, there's some things that make us look terrible, right? But when I used to look up like more stuff and trying to learn about it, I used to find it on YouTube, and I used to find people getting in trouble for it. So like, I like to like learn about that. Like, why are people really getting in trouble? Like, if they said like, you don't need your license or something, and then the police come to like pull them over on the road or whatever, and like take them to court or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, why are things like that happening, or is it really happening?
There's a couple different angles that you could look at it. One is that the people who are going out there and having this stuff happen to them, it's not happening to them because they're wrong. Right? It's not happening to them because they robbed a bank or the same thing, right? Most of the time, people who go through that, at the end of the day, they're getting let out the back door. It's not gonna be what you think, what the presentation is, right? Something else is happening after that situation happens, right? Some of it is karma on those individuals who are getting whatever mistreatment, because there's a certain standard that you have to live by once just like you're saying with the commitment. So once you commit to this, you better be all in. You can't be in it and then, well, I'm going to be out tomorrow and I'm going to come back in. Either you're in or you're out. So people who get into situations, for example, not fully in would be, for example, all their stuff is good. They didn't do anything wrong, but that day they decide not to wear their fez or their turban. So now they got to deal with some messed up energy because them not being in their fez or turban threw off their energy. So now they got to deal with some stuff that they weren't expecting to deal with, right? There's also the side of society as a whole is becoming more aware. And a good way to shut down awareness is fear-mongering, right? Using fear as a tool for people not to do something. So you can go on online. You can go online and you could look up Morris sovereign citizen, and then there's going to be all these videos coming up with people with the same stuff. They are 10-minute video, 8-minute video, 5-hour video of just all these different instances where Amor said, I don't know, whatever, and then they beat them up or bust the glass, pulled them out the car, arrested them, and then people get into this frenzy as if that's a reality. That's probably 1 in 500 Moors that happened to. Like, that's not something that's happening regular like that, and then part that they don't talk about is the individuals who were already doing this thing for the past 20, 30 years, never got a ticket, never got stopped, never been arrested. And they never talk about them. Like, they won't be brought up at all unless those individuals themselves say, oh, I'm gonna make a video and I'm gonna put it up to show you that I just dealt with this policeman and there was no issues, right? Where there's some of those out there too, that when they went live, the thing went proper. You know what I mean? Have a nice day after, and can I get a copy of whatever you got and all that? And you take it back to the station. We need to look at this or whatever. But they get to drive off with their, no license, no whatever. They got to drive off, no tickets, no car impound or anything. So there's all these different angles, but look at it from the perspective of the fear mongering. It's a tactic for them to get people who are getting into this to not take it serious or second guess, or you know what I mean. But even Drew Ali said that they're going to try every weak mind, and that's a way of trying every weak mind. As soon as they start talking about things from a panic perspective, automatically in your mind, no, something's up. You know what I mean? Why are they panicking? Numbers are going up and all this stuff, but everybody has the thing. So why is numbers going? If everybody got the thing, then what? How come there's numbers going up? You can't be panicking because everybody got the thing. It's out there. You know what I mean? People got their second and third one and all that stuff. So why is there panic still? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Everybody out here, the anti-vaxxer mass people, all of them should have been got something.
Yeah.
If the stuff's out there like that, and we need to, lock down and stay in the house and whatever like that, then all the people who didn't stay in their house, they should probably have something right now. They should have something. If they don't,
This is just crazy. This number is going up. Like, I remember taking her to the hospital. She had chest pain, but what was the pain? She had some pain, but she wanted me to go with her because they might just say,
try that thing.
So I said, something. She I'm coming, and you can't go in with her. I said, no, she's my daughter. Guess what?
I'm going. Yeah, like what are you talking about?
I said, I'm coming in. I'm going in with her. So then we were sitting down there, and I said, oh my gosh, I visited the place. You see these people say, oh, the hospitals are
full up. Yeah.
Empty. I did it myself. Like, whoa. So one person said nothing. So I walked in there. I went in with her.
Yeah.
They put management down. I'm coming in. I don't sit. I went in there.
Yeah.
Right. I went to the hospital with like 3 different people. Right? And they tried to, like, the nurse said to me, Mr. can't speak, because it's going to get called after.
It's going to get.
What's code are you talking about? So they're lying. And they locked the state up in England, I don't know if you guys saw that. She went in the hospital, boom, and she videoed everything. And they locked her up in prison because they said she was false accusation, even though she had the live thing there. And they said, no, it's a climbing. How are these people? Why is the hospital empty?
Exactly.
What's going on? Another thing, I know an entire family said they had that whatever it is. And guess what? They sent them back home, stay home for 14 days. So what was the medication? What did you give me to eat? So do you see what I'm saying? So they're saying people are having a flu with a cold. I'm 59 years old. I've never taken the flu shot. So I said, if I don't take the flu shot, what do you think I'm going to
take this one?
40 years you've been trying to do this, 12 years with that, and you think 12 months you just come with it. They said, oh my, there's a story about the 2 mice, the country knows its own. And they say, what's going on? They say, oh, with this, do you take your cocaine, yeah? Do you take the one to the other one? Oh, no, they said skip the human and skip the animal and go to humans. When they finish testing it on the human, they that was a joke. And that's true, because it says skip the animal and go give it to the human. I think that's still my life.
Did you watch the Venom movie?
Yeah,
I'm saying that this is like the Venom movie.
Yeah.
Dr. Fauci said Indian dude.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear her name.
He's in big trouble right now before the Senate. I know I speak it sometimes we be jumping.
Yeah.
Even Ron Paul.
Oh yeah,
Ron Paul
yeah,
was knocking. Because Ron Paul is a doctor.
yeah.
And so Ron Paul is the
But but again, it goes back to the thing, like, we're sitting back and we're cheering, but it's a fixed fight. You know what I mean? Like the game is rigged. The game's rigged.
The game is rigged, man.
The game's rigged. Anybody who comes out and says anything, they're probably with it. More than likely, they're down with it in some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? It's all acting. Yeah.
That's going on.
Yeah.
I was paying attention, the Muslim family that got run over in London.
Mm-hmm.
People saying it's Islamophobia.
Yeah.
It's not Islamophobia. Remember they were saying that in the media that this new strain came from India and Pakistan.
Mm-hmm.
So it was to open, I think, before May 2-4 weekend. You remember they were saying we're gonna open before the 2-4.
Yeah.
And the Europeans wanted to go and have fun.
Yeah.
These little kids didn't get to go nowhere. He shut it, he said no. We gonna come. So the guy is driving now and see these 4 people, he's like, these parties, I can run them down. It wasn't about Islamophobia.
Yeah.
It was about what they told them in the media.
Yeah.
Right, the propaganda,
Yeah.
the propaganda book that copies $11,000.
That's why the China, the race.
Yeah, so now, even in Atlanta,
With the Asian thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you remember the Democratic sister one, and she said, "Shut down." In a way, why going and these European, these young ones, they can't hold pressure. This thing with a lack of pigmentation, this thing makes your mind lose your mind quick.
Yeah.
Just went up in there and take out a few, but they didn't make it look like that.
Yeah.
But that was when you look back, because I did police science. I from Guyana, like growing up in Guyana, my parents were both police.
Yeah.
So where they pushing you to go.
Mm-hmm.
Straight there, right? So they programming you as a little kid. So like everything like how we hear, every little thing that they have, you go in.
Mm-hmm.
And I got, we go, first I was a scout.
Yeah.
He's by teaching you survival.
Yeah.
Like, okay, think.
Yeah.
Oh, you can go.
Yeah.
So all these things I was doing before I didn't reach 18.
Yeah. But that's and then
we
that,
come away here.
yeah, and that's the difference too. Because I went to school in Trinidad and Tobago. Same thing. Had to be in cadets. You had to go through those motions. Because that builds who you are. Like you're not just gonna be out here being a waste of a representation of our nation.
Yeah, and then the family name. You family out like because if you're from the village, you have to represent.
Yeah.
And you have to when you come back, you gotta bring back some substance.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just crazy as in the media and people feed off of the media. I haven't watched TV from 2015. I haven't watched TV from 2015. I just shut that down. The people feed on this news and like people come to me so many times and ask me, "Did you take that?" I'm like, I was in the line one day. I was just waiting for this guy to ask me. Didn't do that. He asked the person in front, and he didn't want to ask me. I didn't saw my face, I would just walk into and say, "Do you have a mask?" I said, "I have a mask." I said, I can't breathe. I can't breathe, and I'm going through. And I just go through, and people scared of me.
Yeah.
They're like, "What's going on?"
You got it. You got it.
Scared of you. I was walking out on the road. People are walking with this behind. So I was walking out a couple months. I go for my walk, and I saw there was a couple coming with a baby, and I was on the sidewalk, and they
went on the
and I'm like, guys, you have a baby, get back on the sidewalk. It was so hilarious. and they take the picture and then, wow.
Yeah,
And they all
yeah.
mask
People
on.
lost it. Yeah, they got their mask on and they're still. I don't know. Yeah.
Not funny.
Even before this stuff, I got into arguments like that because like my children, they were exempt from the vaccine from school, right? And then I've gotten into arguments with people and they'll be like, oh, well, you know, they shouldn't be going if they didn't get the shots and they didn't get sick. I said, well, if you think that this works, then your children are fine. Like, why are we even arguing? You got it, right?
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
So they're the ones who didn't get sick.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna be good, right?
Never gonna hurt me.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's it
And the
right
reason
there.
why I don't understand people because I remember, just a few years back, you watch TV like late night, like 3, 4 in the morning, see like good commercials. Oh, if you took part in the
Yeah. You got a lawsuit. Yeah.
I'm not trying to be one of those.
Yeah. Might not even make it that far.
The polio vaccine. The vaccine.
Yeah.
There's a book called Crack Seed. Well, you know what I mean.
It's not called crack seed, but it's called crack seed.
It's called The Silent Killer. It's an old book. You can't even purchase the book. All you can do is read the version online on archive.org. You sign up and then they'll allow you to order virtually. Right? So that'll explain how it all started. It started with the polio. Right?
Yeah.
Even if you have like Bill Gates is talking about depopulation.
Yeah.
I think I have something with that guy.
We need to get rid of this much billion people.
From 2011, I have. Oh my God.
Now he's the one pushing this.
Google the world's most powerful doctor.
I
Watch
have
him
that.
pop up.
We go from Bill Gates. You see, the fortune, that young doctor. Do you guys know Judy Malcolm? Is her name Judy Malkovich? She's a true scientist, and what fortune did to her, and people don't even see that. And the thing of just take away all our rights.
Yeah.
And come on top. And people just looking at him and like, oh yeah, he's this. And people.
God made the windows, made you the antibiotics for the windows.
Yeah.
The vaccine for the virus.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Crazy.
About
Crazy.
Windows, antibiotics.
You know something, I was just doing some research, right? Because with her, she like always like saying, "Oh, we
Yeah.
Sometimes I understand.
Yeah.
So I was just following this gentleman, and he made up of when that thing just came out. There was this little man saying, "Guys, there's gonna be a first, second, third, fourth wave." I'm like, "Whoa." Yeah, so therefore, and he's telling you the months where they say
Yeah.
So, but then people still don't understand. And I'm saying to some people that are talking, I say, right, okay, in July this is gonna happen, and they say, oh, you know that though. I said, wait until it happens, then you'll figure it out. And I was just kept telling them what's happening, and they're like, oh my God. One lady, she said, oh my God, you were right. How did you know? I said, because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
But to add on to what you're saying, it's very interesting too, because that the whole 5G, that the whole 5G installment rollout, with Bell lining up and side streets going on underneath to install the stuff came around the same time as the vaccine. So what I'm trying to do, my point that I'm trying to make is they're really like speeding up attacking your immune system. So the only way to counter that is chlorella. Chlorella's good, right? Or not taking the vaccine because it's not mandatory, right? Mm-hmm. But mind you, what I even thought about too is the whole thing of even how they even got our food tamed. Yeah. So it's like when people can't even think straight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't even think straight to even register that something's wrong.
Yeah, and it's all part of the attacks that they're just gonna put to see how much they can get, like Gates was saying, it's population control. So we're either gonna get you through the food, we're either gonna get you through the drugs, Why are they gonna get used to, you know what I mean?
Just
The
to
mental,
understand and scare them. They're gonna like,
Right.
oh yeah, I'm
You know.
really scared.
yeah,
Give the water. I'm telling you, I see people drinking the water from the bottle, and you know, you're here. How many times this water been traveling stop, cold, hot. You know, we got our water from a spring up in Ajax.
yeah,
Ajax? No.
yeah.
Highway 7,
Out the
Highway
wall, yeah,
7.
out the wall, one out the wall, the one coming out the wall.
Yeah, one coming.
Yeah,
And there was this guy said to me it was born over there like 25 years ago.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't that, and I for one, I didn't even know it was in Canada.
Yeah.
So when I found that, when I'm going there, when you taste that water.
Big difference.
And what they
Big
say,
difference.
what is the sign they say? Do not, this water is not good for you. It's something about human consumption. So they're saying,
Yeah.
what is good for you is not good for you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
So we've been going there for like how long to drink that water?
And nobody has any issues. No
Nobody has
issues.
issues.
Yeah.
People looking like so young, and if you
Yeah.
see these guys, like one person said, "Oh, I just came to get the water my plant. Do you drink it?" I'm like, "Are you crazy? What are you asking me?" She just coming to get this water.
It's for the plants, and then she's gonna eat the plants, but we're not gonna drink.
And she's not gonna drink. If you see when you go and see the line, sometimes you see people up there.
Yeah.
Catching
Line
water.
up.
It's
Line
coming
up,
from
yeah.
up. Man, when you drink the water, when the water comes in the bottle,
Yeah.
water is just streaming down.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's so refreshing.
It's different.
It's 8.8. The level is 8.
Yeah, it's different. It's definitely different. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And people like, you know, you have to be careful with everything. I know that team people and the world is like, because, you know, we do organic, but then again, you know, forget about organic, and I say, but then do it yourself. And the food, the grow itself, they don't, like, you know, build it.
Yeah, there's issues.
He's into this, like,
Yeah, you have to be on some untouched land to get some organic or whatever. Yeah.
So he's buying up land at home, man.
Yeah. Buying up crazy.
Number one in purchase land was.
Yeah.
The States, they-
When if you buy the land, you have to have some high tech thinking, because people are gonna come, when you're sleeping in the night, they're gonna
No,
come
you
down.
want to farm, make believe food. Yeah, make believe.
Yeah, they want to do their GMO thing. Yeah. There was one question in the email. The U.S. corporation is operating from the treaties. According to the treaties, they should still be giving tributes to the Sultan, being that they're exploiting the natives and the Sultan accepting the tributes. Is that a conflict of interest? Is this another example of the priesthood is dead? So when we go back to the letter, look at the timeline. So the timeline of the letter was 1700s, and they were talking about this is dealing with Moors and modern Europeans. And time went by, and modern Europeans became, their own entity. And then the Moors disappeared, turned into Negro, black, colored people. So that's why the tributes aren't being paid, because there ain't nobody to pay them to. Right? The first thing, there's nobody to pay the tributes to. And then this is also why they can continually not go with the treaties, because the Moors, who were the ones who set up this whole thing, Islam, that set up this whole thing that they have going on, the Europeans in America, right? They want to be Christian. They gave up their birthright to gratify their lower self. Now they're complaining about, well, where's the tributes? You don't get tributes. You're Negro. Negroes don't get paid tributes, especially if there's no Sultan around. Everybody who's supposed to be claiming Sultan, they can't, because they're not the empire, they're the kingdom. So they can't claim sultanhood or sultanship or whatever, right? So the idea of some Europeans giving something to us because they're exploiting the natives or whatever It ain't going down like that. Too many people sold out, agreed to be natives, made these dummy treaties or whatever. Too many sold out, agreed to be nigger leaders and Prince Hall and whatever like that instead of being themselves. So because we're not able to be ourselves because of our own, it's not them at fault. You know what I mean? We can't see them being at fault. We're the ones that are at fault. So we have to correct ourselves first, and then in correcting ourselves, then we can look at, okay, now let's have some conversations with some people. But if there's people out here calling themselves Negro, black, colored, you're just screaming at the top of your lungs for nothing. You know, the idea of acknowledge the parties has been disregarded, right? So you have people today that still say Moroccan, Kingdom of Morocco. There's people that still say that they're United States. There's people who are attempting to be the empire, but you know, the world's going to pretend that that doesn't exist, even though all these other fake empires exist, right? So everybody's been down with keeping the hub, keeping North America, South America, but mainly North America and the islands, keeping these people in mental darkness so they don't figure out who they are and take their place in their own land that they're supposed to be taking. And once they did that, then it's even playing field, because now the Negro, black, colored people, instead of giving licenses or whatever like that, all of them be given nationality cards every time they stop them. And they're not going to be able to say, give them tickets, because all these people are going to know about their birthrights. And if they get a ticket, they go to court, they fight, they're going to lose. Eventually, you're going to stop giving Morris tickets. And we know that we're the ones who these people attack the most when it comes to finance. If they want to get some quick finance, find you a Negro that doesn't know themselves, and they will fund you forever. You know. And then the other part, when you're talking about giving tributes or whatever, what do you think all that stuff with giving mothers of children checks and giving out all types of gratuities to the black community, 50 billion to go do this, 85 million to go start some community center, and then nothing gets solved? That's your reparations money that you're doing nothing with. That they've been getting reparations money for years. They've been getting reparations for years. Did nothing with it. Say that again?
Right now I know communities that are giving money like those.
Yeah.
And I even tell them about the Moors, but I guess they realize, or if they speak to someone up top, they know if they go that way, they won't be getting.
They're not going to be getting anything.
Yes, it's only for black, not for
Yeah, because it's but by funding the black, the BS continues. The enslavement continues. You know what I mean? The enslavement continues, and then the people don't see it. You know, people aren't seeing it.
It's good they're doing them. Fund them to have a little thing going there. I think it's good. It's still at the bottom of the chain.
Like you take money, then when it's time for reparations, they're looking at you like you beggars.
Yeah.
You mean that I'm like, no, I'm getting this check here. Remember that?
Yeah.
That's gonna happen.
Yeah. And then the other thing too with the treaty is that the people who are today, those aren't the people from 1700s that did treaties with Morocco or whatever. Those are different entities. That's not even the same people. So they're not obligated to pay anything like that. They're not obligated to follow the treaty. They have nothing to do with treaty being signed. These are new people that infiltrated the stuff that was originally set up. And now we're dealing with the infiltrators and trying to hold them to some type of obligations as if they were there from the beginning. Right? They weren't there.
It's like I always say with the birth certificate. I didn't have a clue they were giving that to me.
Yeah.
Baby, I didn't know nothing. So I have my right to correct that, right?
Right.
That name I didn't know. So I have my right to correct it.
Mm-hmm.
What did you say if it's the contract's wrong from its inception, it's void?
Yep. Void ab initio. Void.
That's what they call us minorities. Yeah. So they have control over.
Because you thinking, because the mind is a child, right?
Yeah.
So you thinking it's a certain group of people that don't have the
Small.
all they gotta do is put in the dictionary and read the
But
word.
that's the thing, we need to, as Moors, and speech, words. I didn't even realize, I was watching a video, the brother was talking, stop calling the children kids.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the worst thing. Kids are goats.
Yeah.
So you grow up calling your I have 5 kids. Come here, kids.
Yeah.
You put them
Nonchalant.
there.
Nonchalant.
Right.
Like it ain't
No,
nothing.
remember you sending it out in the ether.
Yeah.
So when they start behaving like bulbs, you like, this child don't hear.
Yeah, now he's a child now.
You see?
Now he's a child now.
You tell the child a kid all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I try to I put it to the attention of my folks. I'm like, they said, well, we've been saying kids since you come here. I'm like, but you coursing your child.
Yeah. So you been saying it all along.
That's the name we're gonna call them. That's what we're gonna call them.
Yeah.
But it's because, back when we don't say kids.
Yeah.
We say children. Right.
And that's 360 with what Noah was saying with calling. Somebody was making the reference. I can't remember now. You just said something that jogged my memory.
Picnic is another thing too, They call the little springs of the pig.
Yeah.
Picnic.
Yeah.
Picnic comes from pigs. And the pigs and the dogs are morts. And the
Okay. But I don't know why they say that. He had something, like, as I say, he come from the village. And is it?
That's what they were talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Really say picking their kids.
Yeah.
I know, but in the village,
Yeah.
you get your grandparents
Yeah,
to say
yeah,
things.
yeah.
And when you look back, some of the words they were using, now you come into identity.
Mm.
You realize
That's not the word.
Right, not only that, but they were dropping some words that are here still.
Yeah.
But they didn't even know.
Didn't even know what they were. Yeah. Or did they? Or did they? Right?
They know, man.
Because it might be like intuition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just in their DNA.
It come out in the
It
DNA.
just came out in the DNA.
And
And it happened to stick because it's a real thing.
Yeah. Actually, that makes sense because if you think about Westmoreland, it's an English family, right?
Yeah.
You got people called, there's 8 people in Jamaica living in Westmoreland, right? Westmoreland, right? And if you find out, you research these people, you find out they're dark Moors.
Yeah.
But it all goes back to the British, and but as we know, are part of the Moroccan Empire itself.
Yeah.
So it's just hidden, right? They're not explaining that to you.
Yeah.
J. Rogers breaks it down.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Well, you look at it, they don't pick up J. Rogers.
No, they can't because it's too much.
No,
It's too much.
I asked some brothers because I run. My grandmother gave me that book. She was working in the States for a lady from South Carolina. And the lady gave her that book.
Yeah.
But she on me if I'm trying to
Yeah. She went in the vault for you.
Put that book on me, man. I was like, but you see, one of my niece, she's a teacher over there. So I said, let me pass it on because I
graduate.
So
I said,
read it. But like I'm trying to get them to
read
Yeah.
to, like this book, Spanish Man.
Yeah, the early Spanish make very good.
And then
Yeah.
you see when we talk, you say Indians, Jamaicans, Puerto Ricans, so like
Yeah.
we looking over so
Yeah.
the Hindustani,
Yeah.
those brothers
Yeah.
in those regions,
Yeah.
I'm calling them Indian.
They're not Indian.
In that same book,
Ethiopia.
in that same book, they'll sit there and say that quote unquote Indians got tattoo markings like the Berbers in Africa.
Mm.
They're alluding to telling this.
Yeah.
But you see why we awoke when we waking up.
Yeah.
We can put the pieces together and we can see the whole puzzle.
That's how you figure it out, putting the pieces together.
It's like the brother was, this one, the brother, he says, show me a slave ship.
Yeah.
Show me a slave ship.
Yeah.
Find that somewhere right there.
Yeah. Find something. We were here.
Yeah.
They come and they read it. I'm like,
Yeah.
When you have time, look up a man by the name of Carlos Pinto. Carlos Pinto. He's an emperor of the Incas. You're gonna research him. You're gonna find out that he's Emperor Charles V.
Small again?
I'm gonna show a picture of him. He's darker than you.
Yeah, because
Darker than you.
because when they will say Spain now, but it's the Andalus.
Yeah. Al-Andalus, yeah.
Al-Andalus,
That picture there.
It is
The book
from Turkey, right?
No, Netherlands. In the book, what's it called? 100 something. Image of the Black in Western Art. That's the name of the book. The third volume shows you this picture.
Mm.
And it says it's a flag bearer from Netherlands.
Yeah. Couple questions we got. Why is Mansa Musa only referenced as an African, not a Moor, if he was the king of Timbuktu?
And at that time, it included Morocco.
All that.
All that, because they showed me this little part of Mali.
Yeah.
Like this brother wrote the book, The Black Jews. He transitioned the glasses from Ethiopia.
To Ben, Dr. Ben, yeah, Dr. Ben, yeah.
Exactly, the Black Jews. And then he tell you, but when they say more, you see as the brother say over there, they will say the more, they say Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
You see what they trying to
Yeah.
see, like and these guys were all from that area, the middle area.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these pale brothers came now,
Yeah.
But they're Moors because they have the blood in them.
Yeah.
They have the blood in them.
Yeah. They have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because some of the Khazars, they're that, I call it the Khazars.
Yeah.
And they're running up there now.
Yeah.
That's why when you see what's going on up there, they're fighting each other.
Yeah.
They're killing each other.
Yeah.
Up there, the Khazar fight.
Right. Same thing with the question. Right there. It's Moors killing Moors. That's talking about Mansa Musa as an African and all this. Like he's a Malian Moor. Everybody knows he's Malian. Yeah. Right.
But that's what we know about. These brothers were traveling on.
Yeah.
They have stuff in Chile.
Yeah.
They were going on there already.
Yeah. And it goes back to the thing again. Why that the so-called native Indians or whatever aren't having that conversation?
Because they know they're the target.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's why.
They're not having that conversation about what's a guy from Mali know about coming over here and talking to people over here who don't speak Malian over here?
Yeah.
Or did they speak that language over here? And then how'd that language get over here? If these people are supposed to be, some slaves and lost their culture and all that stuff, then how do they know all this? You know what I mean? Somebody's been playing around. you know, and then look at also that all the different labels, regardless of what it is, right? Once they're talking about dark-skinned people, they're talking about Moors.
Yeah.
They might not have called them Moors 50,000 years ago, 100,000 years ago, yesterday. Even if they didn't call themselves that, that's what they are. Being that they're dark-skinned people. You know what I mean? So when you're talking about all that line, all Timbuktu and all that stuff, well, the Moors came in here and did something to the Africans, or no, it was Moors doing stuff to Moors. Stop dumb stuff. It was Africans doing stuff to Africans. It was blacks doing stuff to blacks. Like stop the, you know what I mean, separating thing as if we're separate like that.
Right?
Yeah.
Black on black. Yeah, we do it to each other.
Same people.
That's how they beat us, because they knew we were fighting against each other. They
Right.
were going to support one side, and when that other side gets kicked up, we're going to pick up the pieces, set up shop, and then knock off his brother when he's not.
But that's how we got kick out the speed.
Right. Another question. Another question we got. So the whole process of getting your paperwork done and whatever else going through with that. The system that is in place right now has been in place. They've been doing what they're doing, right? Our perspective is, what are we going to start doing? Because obviously the things that we've been doing hasn't been working, because nothing getting better. So there must be something that we're not doing right? So when you have people who are in back against the wall positions, they fall victim to opportunists out there who have set up a livelihood of sell stuff in order for people to be Moors, right? So one of the platforms that we send people to is RV Bay Publications to get their studying, to get their books, to get whatever it is they need with regard to this, because they've been around the longest. There's nobody that's been around longer than that site as far as giving you the information for you to free yourself. Not, you got to go to some class 500 and then you're gonna find out this information. You're gonna find out what you want to find out based on your drive. You're gonna go on there and study, or you're not gonna go on there and study. So going back to what we were talking about earlier, you shouldn't be concerned with paperwork until you have this in your mind. You shouldn't be concerned with having a card or joining up to something until you're sure about what it means to be in this realm for yourself, because nobody can't tell you what it means to be in this mindset. You know what I mean? You have to be the one to recognize it for yourself, that okay, that's what this is about. That switch goes off, now you're going to start taking the place that you should be taking without you having to ask questions and whatever. So it's getting the mindset in. Peace, brother. How you doing, yo? Everything. Just talk to that brother right there. Yeah.
You good?
Yeah, I think he's looking for some change or something. Yeah. If you have something loose, or just give him a 5 or something. It's not. He's not an every weeker. Last time he was here was a few weeks ago. So as far as the thing is, get it in your mind first. Once you get it in your mind, then you could do the process. The process is like we were talking about. We've had these colonial names put on us, right? And us having the colonial names and us not being colonists means that we're giving our energy to something else and it's not coming to ourselves. So we correct our name so that we can get that energy coming back to us instead of continually going that way, right? The process that we've grown into is you do a name correction, which corrects the name, and then you do a judicial proclamation, which proclaims your position after you said proclaim your name, right? Or after you change your name. There's the other side of it where people are spiritually in tune with this. And as soon as they hear this, they already know what's up. And they do the name change and then they get their ID and that's that. They're not even concerned with anybody else and how they think. All they know is this is what they're going to be exercising as moving forward. This is the position that they're taking. I'm not Negro, black, colored, I'm a Moor, and they're going with that. And whatever comes at them, they'll deal with it. Positive, negative, matters not. You know what I mean? Whatever the sacrifice is, they'll go through the fire to stand on their square. And you know, not everybody is there. You know, not everybody's in that place. You know what I'm saying? No, but not a lot of people are totally in like that. So that might not be the move for everybody. You know what I'm saying? But we know for sure having a base of what this information is in your mind, right, for yourself is the starting point. The starting point isn't go out there, find some guy to get some whatever because you got court tomorrow and then you need to get out of this is not for that. You know what I mean? I just got my license yesterday and I need to drive to work tomorrow. I need to be a Moor so I can get it. This is not for that. You're gonna go out there and get yourself more injured than if you would have just stayed Negro and went to court and dealt with your ticket. You know what I mean? You might have been able to tell the judge something and just say, you know what, I actually feel sorry for you. You know, we're gonna drop everything and you have a nice day. You know what I'm saying? Right?
Because I didn't realize that we use the term driving. As more as we don't drive, we travel.
Right.
The car is the one that drives.
Yeah.
You inside the car, so you travel.
The driving has nothing to do with it.
So it's not about driving, you're a traveler. Period. Yeah, that's.
No, you get paid to do it, it's commerce.
Right.
You still could drive, you could get a license and drive.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
truck driver.
No, what I'm saying, you in the vehicle, let's say.
No.
Okay.
The word
This is what.
driving, it's one who's employed. So
Okay.
if you're a taxi driver, bus driver,
Okay.
truck driver, you're getting paid.
Once you
from
be
people.
paid, then you're a
So
driver.
even if you're a taxi driver, if you call me and say, I wanna go from here to wherever,
Yeah.
I say, all right, I'm gonna come for you. When I'm going to you, I'm not a driver. When you jump in the car,
Then
and
you
you
become
put
a
down
driver.
money and say, okay, I take you to wherever, now I'm a driver. I drop you off over there, I go back to go pick up whoever else, I'm not driving. When I get them, then I'm driving.
Or the point that you back the truck up, they put the stuff on, and then you're going from where the truck picked up to where the drop off. That's driving. But it's not a negative thing. Just like a gun's not a negative thing. It's how you use what it is that you have. You know what I mean? Right? It's a tool. Yeah. It's something that you can use or not use. You know, it depends on whether you're what you're engaging in.
Because I was, I say, I do my diligence.
Yeah.
You were done. So, like, I'm like, man, I'm driving, travel. I got it now. Once it's business, commerce, Yeah.
That's how they try to get us in the jurisdiction too, right? So they're going there to try to get license, right? And they're seeing it, you need this, they're not actually looking at it. So every time, you see a driver's license. What?
Make you say yes, you're a driver. And you notice in the fine print of the insurance paper, it said you could carry a passenger, but you cannot charge them. It's in the fine print of the insurance pink slip they have.
Yeah.
Most people don't see that.
Yeah.
Said you could carry a passenger, but don't charge them. And you say you're a driver, so you could carry a passenger, don't charge them. But you should say you are not a driver, you're traveling, you conveyance, and you carry guests, not passenger. Don't carry passenger, you carry guests.
Right.
Passengers and then have to come.
Passengers when you're getting paid now. You're doing commercial.
And yeah, and the same thing that we were talking about earlier, that they're gonna let you do it. It's not gonna be them. You know what I mean? So they pull you down and then they call that guy passenger, and you or that guy doesn't object to it. Then you're engaging in commerce.
Yeah.
Now you could be held responsible. You know what I mean? I know we aren't supposed to have brothers and sisters from the East speaking on our rostrum. Does that mean we aren't supposed to bring them in or build with them or show some solidarity with them in like a temple setting, or do we just keep our distance? Well, I think the whole thing with the speaking at the rostrum thing more had to deal with the Muslim element. The idea that the people who saw us as Negro black colored, they didn't do anything about that. They had everything that they had then, and it was fine that we were Negro black colored. We weren't a threat to anybody. Now that we start saying that we're Moors, now everybody wants to debate Moors and tell you what a Moor is and give you different stuff for Moors, and well, you should read this book and put up videos or whatever. Prior to that, there was not even any concern with regard to what this is about. So the idea of brothers from the East, those are family if they're dealing with us on the principles. You know, if they're dealing with us on, they know what the fez is and they're running up and hugging and want to take pictures and all that stuff, yeah, we better be talking to them, because you know that should be the response of our people here. You know what I mean? That's why Noble Drew Ali made the reference point that, hey, when I was my spirit's in India, and it has these women jumping this high off the ground, and they're over there. So how come these people around here who are around me right now aren't acknowledging my prophethood? Well, you got some people all across the planet honoring Noble Drew Ali and whatever. You know what I mean? And his own brothers and sisters are looking at him like, who is he, and why is he wearing that and all that stuff? You know. Any opportunities we get to engage other nations in our official capacity, you know what I mean? Like we deal with them and they're not debating. Like how our people want to debate everything when we start talking. They're riding with everything that we're saying. You know, stay close to those connections. Something might pop up. You know, something might pop up. Because people are getting to the point where they see it, they recognize it. The problem is it's not with the masses. You know, it appears like we're some little select group of people who know something about something that other people don't know or whatever like that. When this applies to everybody who looks like us. You know, they just don't know or aren't ready for that reality. You know? you have any other questions, could throw those out. We got
Hey, Rennie, can you get him?
we got
Can you get Cujo?
two more questions in here. Is there a bad lash to doing any process and not enforcing it? Meaning nationality papers and just having it and putting your title on the paperwork contracts with non-Moorish entities. I have 2 people that's doing this, and I just found out they know absolutely nothing, and I'm wondering if they may be looking at an issue coming. So when you finally say that you're gonna proclaim who you are, you're gonna declare your nationality, you're gonna be yourself, you're gonna be a Moor, you're gonna, stand on your square, whatever, you're gonna enforce the law. That more has to do with your mindset than what type of papers you got or what type of cards you have, because majority of the time those things aren't even going to come into question unless it's a situation where identity is required, so you're going to go buy something or you got court or something like that. Identity is required. You should have something. But once you say you're going with that you're a Moor and you're taking these steps, you can't really go back after. So let's say you have a situation and you say I'm a Moor, and then you get off it and everything's good. You can't go back to do nigger stuff to get in issues again, to use the Moor thing to get out of the second time, because they're not gonna recognize it, right? Because the first thing they ask you, well, why do you go back to doing whatever? Oh, well, you shouldn't even, you know what I mean? When you look at contracts that are out there, and people say they got their paperwork and then they sent it to whoever because, whatever. They sent it to some organization, association, governmental body, corporation, or whatever. They're either going to respond to you or not respond to you. So them responding, then based on their response, then you do whatever you're going to do. Them not responding means that they're in default. So if they're in default from your response, then you should have a response to their non-response, which would be a judgment on them that, well, since you didn't respond, this is what you're basically letting me know that everything's good, right? You have no issues. Because if you had issues, I just told you that you could have responded and we could have dealt with the issue. So things might be coming for people if they sent out some paper thinking that, I got into a situation, so I talked to this Moor over here. He said 500 and he gave me this paperwork, and then I filled it out and I sent it to those people over there, and now I'm just waiting to see what happens. Well, you better be ready for what's the return's going to be. Because if you just went and bought something from somebody to send out, you didn't write it yourself, you're probably going to have problems. You're more than likely going to have something come up after, right? Because it's beyond the processes.
It's taking a shortcut. Yeah,
it's not about the processes. You know what I mean? If these people say, you didn't take the crack scene. You didn't take the crack scene, so you're gonna do 100 years. You got court tomorrow, prove you're gonna sentence you or whatever. Then you better go in there, stand on everything that you know. Right? Because the argument is that who are they? Who are you? Where do you get the authority in land that's not yours to tell indigenous people that they need to take something and they're not going to get whatever? Oh, we get the authority from the queen or whatever. Okay, prove it. You should have something in writing that says that, posted on the wall or something like that. You're not just telling me that's what it is.
Documentation.
You should have something in documentation with the queen's ribbons on it and all that stuff to say that you got that authority. If you don't, you probably don't have that authority. right? But if they're saying about, we're gonna fine you 10 cents, for something and all that stuff, and if you don't pay the 10 cents, then you do 100 years. Just put down the 10 cents and don't go around trying to be a more for 10 cents. Put on the 10 cents and go about your business. It's not that serious. It's not worth the headache that you're gonna get, because you're gonna pay more than 10 cents to send them the paperwork that you're gonna need to defend yourself in the thing. You might as well just pay the 10 cents 5 times over, so you don't have to deal with them ever again. All right.
But if you pay the 10 cents and it say, for instance, it wasn't done correctly, then 10 more years to come out and that 10 cents, you probably pay triple the price of the city properly. So.
Well, if look at it like this, like if you have lots to lose, you better put your life on the line. If you don't have too much to lose, then it's not really that serious.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Even if they said 10 cents 5 times over, that's still 50 cents. That ain't nothing. Throw it down and then you go about your business. You know what I mean? Because the fight might not be worth the fight.
Like when I go get taxed off.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
like whatever.
The Moore's fighting at the cashier because 3 cents tax. Well, I'm tax exempt. I don't need to pay tax. Well, it's 3 cents, bro. Like, come on now. You don't need to fight for that. You know what I'm saying? That's not worth fighting for, really. It's 3 cents. Now, 8 million times 3 cents. Okay, now you're talking about these people are going overboard with the 3 cents. We got to do something about this. But certain things you got to pick your battles.
Yeah, because even the same 3 cents too, it could be a circumstance where you gotta deal with it that way, even though, in other words, it's not how much it is, but the principle or the weightings go down at the time. Sometimes.
They give you an
Weightings go down.
That's it right there, because I remember an older gentleman a couple of years ago, I was at the pharmacy, and he bought something, and they said to you, they said, okay, you're finished with your sir. So it was like 99 cents. So there was about a cent left, right? So he said to them, the lady said, what are you waiting for? I said, I'm waiting for my change. And she said, well, it's only 1 cent. He said to her, it's not about the 1 cent though, it's about the principle.
But it's just supposed to give it back
You understand? Because if I come here and I show up 1 cent, you don't have to give my 1 cent. So there you go. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it depends on the circumstance.
Yeah. How would I leave off an island using more science info about getting stuck in another country without the straw passport? It was taken away due to circumstances of gun found and so-called bail. Now due to the pandemic, not able to go to the court. So now there's a warrant out for the straw. They want the straw to turn themselves into the police. So if the individual who's the Moor addressed that they're a Moor and gave something Moorish, and they put stuff in a straw name, and then they're going after the straw, then that's not the Moor. So if they're gonna go after the straw, then yeah, they're gonna go after the straw. That's not you. Now if you got caught up in something as the straw, and then you didn't put them on notice about who you are or whatever like that, and later you found out some stuff and you're trying to throw that into some stuff that already happened, you're probably not gonna get too far, because they're going on what they have on their record. They're gonna go with that before they go with what you said, right? Because they're colonists, so they're criminal, and everything that they do is in color. So you shouldn't even be expecting them to do anything right? And the second part of it is you know, when you start getting into you know, the island and the Caribbean and the mainland and you know, passports and whatever, you're not really there in your mind yet to even be trying stuff.
So I
You
heard
know what I
you
mean?
something about get
Like,
from an island and something
yeah,
about a
so
country.
if you know, like if for example there's a Moor that we know that is in yard right now, right? He got deported from here under the straw name. Went there, corrected everything there, and now there has everything in the Moorish name, right? Passport, license, whatever, everything's in the Moorish name now. Nothing to do with the straw, right? And that was that, and that was because his mindset wasn't that he was getting deported. His mindset was that they're sending him home to correct the errors that he was messing around with over here, claiming to be Williams, Johnson, Jeffries, or whatever like that, got into some BS and got deported. All right, well, since I'm here now, and this is my land of origin, this would be the place to start fixing the stuff, not really over there. Right? So he made the best of the situation. And then now he's working and whatever like that. And he's all right there. You know, he was deported, but it wasn't like how these people, when they get deported, well, I want to go back and no, well, actually, you know, it's sunny all the time here. I just go pick something if I want to eat, and you know what I mean? Like, if I want to go fish, I can just go right down there, fish if I want. You know, what do I need to leave here for? To go back there to do what? Pay taxes to European, to, you know, be riding and looking around, can't even, you know, now he has everything Moorish, you know what I mean? From birth certificate all the way to whatever other ID he's got, and he's home. You know what I mean? If he wants to travel, he's put down the Jamaican passport with the free national name on it and go wherever he's gonna go. If that's you know what I mean, what he wants to do. But that came from, you know, that's about, you know, 8 years of, you know, studying and whatever else. It's not just some yesterday stuff. You know what I'm saying? So he put in some time to get to that place. But if it's some instance that happened yesterday and then you want to try to use the Morse thing today to get, don't waste your time.
So
It doesn't work. It doesn't really work like that.
So, question.
Yeah.
So now that he's back home and everything's changed over, so if he comes, he say in travel now, so if he comes here,
Yeah.
that it wouldn't affect him. He come back from here with
It shouldn't, because that's not the name that they have. You know what I mean? And then he has all the stuff from there that you require.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. And the process over there was the same thing. Went to the office of the whatever, hey, you know what I mean? I found out that my nationality, here's my paperwork, took it in the back. All right, this is what it is. Changed up all the things and that's that. It wasn't even an issue. It wasn't even an issue. Wasn't even an issue with them.
Yeah, because I know a few people even not even being a more just get deported, go down, change their name, come back up to
right. You know what I mean? So, you know, there's many ways to skin the cat.
Yep.
You know, many ways to skin the cat. Every way might not work, but one's gonna work for sure. For sure. You know, it might appear like it's a battle, but it's not really a battle if you're looking at it from the right perspective. And where we're at is the right perspective. There ain't no other perspective to look at it.
That same brother, he probably has a CARICOM passport, right?
I'm not even sure. I'm not even
Like,
sure.
even when you're in
Yeah, I'm not
the
even
Atlantic
sure.
Islands, if you really have that, right? Because the Moorish name tend to people make his moves and travel by him.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, I mean, I don't know if he's got plans to do anything, but, you know, that was one of those things that when when you hear people outside of the mainland, using certain things, nationality card, paperwork, whatever like that. People are like, yeah, but why are you standing here? we're gonna do what you request. You know what I mean? It's not. You don't have to wait to see if we'll do it. We'll do it. Don't worry. You know. You know what I mean? And then certain jurisdictions, you're pulling teeth to get some stuff done, to be allowed to reserve your rights. These people are stapling you to the board.
Sorry, can I ask you a question? What's your name? Yeah. Sure. Yeah, so you, regarding your kid, they say the English. Sorry.
No, it's all right. It's a process. We'll get there.
Okay, you said that they're exempt. So what's going on? Are they in school now?
Well, they're doing
Online.
Yeah, so they don't even need. There's nothing right now.
So before that, for their problem.
All right, cool. You got them up? All of them?
90%. Look. You know,
He's still doing that thing out with the line.
This one's bullshit. I have to get a reprint. First COVID one. This is probably the autumn of Right? Christy Pitts.
Right? Why are you scared of coming inside?
Yeah, she's the bike.
Because I mean, before, like, first of all, what doesn't make sense to me is the fact that they have a huge shop for every year. I don't know why you think this one is
Tree treat. Winter solstice.
all of a sudden nobody's
And I still have
building.
and we just had the one that we just did last week, but this coming out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you.
Yes, and
So we have one.
yeah. I'll get it this week.
Remove one of these sections, maybe over here, so free it up. So it seems like maybe all of our gates and our barbecues here, something, free it up. Or across from there, maybe
This issue with there is because the
So
or something. Anyways, we can work on that. We got a lot of shit. Yeah. I was also thinking go by year.
No. Before
By
Corona,
year.
you could get food.
1440, 1390. You know, they need that like a too, right? Because then you see that, right? That might be a little.
You know, they took it to the Italian neighborhood. They took it to the Italian neighborhood. And no one in the Italian neighborhood, they said we're disappointed. They took it up there. Over the wood, and they set up every day. And they were there. All week, Saturday and Sunday.
But if you go there to most of the places, if you go there where they say that they have these pop-up places.
Spot.
If you go there, why don't they videos and show, oh, there's a lot of people coming in? No, they never see that. You only hear that, oh, it's here and a lot of people coming up. Yeah, sometimes you see some lines up, right? Oh, very well.
Yeah.
What did you hear last time you passed by a COVID line? They're playing about the ground?
Oh, yeah. My prerogative, man. I know. Brainwashing them. Crazy.
Yeah, some are scared, man. They're ready to get that.
Yeah.
Ready to get that deal, guys. Keep it over there, right?
Any other questions before we close out? Questions, comments?
I think that with even if you just ask you concerning kids and stuff, I think that the easiest way is like for me is with my children, to be honest. My children are the ones who help me speak correctly and say the right word. Because the stuff that I teach them, they remember more than we do, right?
Yeah.
They call me on things all the time. It's like teaching it to them. And so it's like driving. I'm telling the children, yeah, we're driving Congress,
Yeah.
They will be talking, me and the wife and stuff, we're talking, oh yeah, I gotta go drive to such a, are you getting paid, Daddy? You're not driving, you're driving. It's like,
Oh, yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah.
Because they all the time, we're not 80 coach.
Yeah, they go off. Yeah, they go off.
They're outspoken.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they wear their fez. And people, oh, I like your hat. It's not a hat. It's a fez. Like, they'll tell them
Yeah.
straight off. I tell people that I walk around with, I'm like, yo, if you ever see it, just try it. Try it.
Just try them,
oh,
yo.
yeah, you're a nice little black. I'm not black. You know, they'll tell them straight.
Yeah.
I think that's the easiest way to remember.
That's where it's at. That's where it's at, yo.
Yeah, and they are really, really spongy. They suck everything.
Oh yeah. Sponge.
Yeah, and really truly, you know, it's really good to teach them from a young age and really sucks everything.
Yeah.
That's the one Bible verse that I remember.
She go to the doctor, maybe treat your body.
Oh, yeah, cheese, exactly.
Yeah.
Because at their age, like, children enjoy sharing what they know. They
Yeah.
always want to show how smart
Yeah.
they know. So you teach them anything, so you realize the switch, and they turn about, you get to like teenage years, then they kind of start going down.
Yeah.
So you'll ask them, what you doing in school? Nothing. That's when it's like, all right, of course, I'm done that. My mom used to ask me like,
Or they really didn't learn anything.
true. But I mean, when they do, they won't hide. The children won't, like, they don't hold it back. You guys, when you get older, it's like, I learned some stuff, but it wasn't important. It was insignificant. Children, they don't have that separation. So everything they learn to them is important because it's a new thing that they can say, I'm smarter than I was yesterday.
I have one question.
Yeah, sure, go ahead, sis.
So I've actually been like holding off on like really committing to this marriage stuff
Mhm.
because the person I'm working with wasn't like all the way there.
Who's that?
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to fix their problems. But
We'll love it. Who's that? But here's my question though, how come people don't want to talk about that? How come it's always when these tragedies happen? I'm right now in the same thing, so I've been on the line here not talking to you guys. I'm with my local where I work, and it's the same malfeasance, the same cover-ups, the same
Conspiracy.
the same fraud, the same nonsense. And what I've realized is that we've all bought into this in one form or another. And then the biggest thing that they've actually got us to do is this whole rat concept. If you talk about something, somehow you're a rat or you're not upstanding. To me, the person who's done the thing is upstanding. He's all right. It's you who's talking about him being not upstanding is the problem. It's crazy, you know. So and this is what is part of the process too, is in facing those things. Because right now, what you've done is you're internalizing all of that, in a sense, protecting him, right?
Or her, whoever it is.
Or her, or them. And then really, if you think about it, if you are wanting to be humanitarian compassionate, you're allowing this thing to continue. Because by not talking about it, you're not identifying them, and then it can't be said that you didn't speak out. So just food for thought for your own thing.
But on the side of it, on the side of you know, with what you're saying, it's, you know, you can say who it is in the air or whatever, but the situation should be put out because, you know, yeah, it might be somebody you're living with still or whatever. You don't want them to be put on, or you don't want to put them on blast like that. But the situation or the instance, you know what I mean? You know, somebody told you, you know, 8,000 for some paperwork or something like that. You should probably talk about that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
sorry
you know?
to jump you, but go ahead.
Yeah,
I just wanted
yeah.
to let, this is a problem for us in general. And so I decided as much as possible to always call people out on that because if we could get, because you made mention about wanting to get into this before and wanting to understand about taking on the process of changing your plates and things like that. Because I was involved in this meeting, I didn't speak up. But the issue is for you to have a different set of plates or a different aspect to go to,
that aspect hopefully has to have a foundation, has to be set up, has to be honorable. Also has to be doing the works, because the stuff that you get here with the plates here, and the reason why these things run like that is because people are paying homage, whether you know it or not. When you go buy the plates, that's homage. When you go get the license,
Insurance,
that's
insurance,
homage.
that's
All
homage,
that, all that is homage to them. That's commitment to them.
Commitment, allegiance.
Allegiance to them, whether you like it or not. And then we come to this thing, and people, like Kujo say, for whatever the spell is, and I was thinking about this yesterday. I think the spell, what the spell is they've made each one of us think that we're better than the other within our own community. And so we look at everyone as someone that we have to beat up or beat or be better than. But the European, who is less than us, has got us convinced that he's someone that we have to honor and pay homage to because of something, because of some sort of unspoken guilt that we have towards being a slave, or doing some cruelty that we've done before, or something. I think I wrote this with people a couple of days ago. What is it that we've done now if we're a bunch of slaves that have come here from before? Why are we still being treated the way we're being treated?
Yeah.
What have we done that you're still treating us like that?
Yeah.
Oh, all you people are this and all. No, that's not the truth. But then when you also look at it and it's played out, you realize that any of the systems that we go into, anything where people are actually, sort of, in a sense, being sort of self-sufficient and affluent and stuff, all of those things tend to be run by Europeans. And when we look within our own communities where those things are like that, it usually happens to be things that would be considered in the greater scale of things to be stuff that's illegal or stuff that's on the edge, right? But really what that is are a bunch of gods making sure that they're going to get their stuff, or they're not going to keep us down like that. But also within the dynamic of, let's say, those things, we're also bringing pain into our community, which is exactly what I was saying to you, whereby you're not identifying the person going around and cutting people. Maybe because you don't want to get cut again, which we understand, but definitely we have to excise those guys from our group. And in other cultures, like we're thinking about, I was talking about this with some guys yesterday, the Montreal Canadiens, if anyone's following hockey, they made it to the finals, whatever. But if those guys didn't make it to the finals, there'd be a riot in the streets. Guys' heads would be rolling because they didn't do their duty. And that's just on a hockey game.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to show you, but yet us, we'll let the guys diddle the children, do all the stuff, and that's that guy, but, whatever it is. So, and I can't figure that stuff out either, but I think that harkens back to that kind of, I don't want to be seen as a rat. But rather, you should be looking at yourself, I want to be that whistleblower. But even when they call it a whistleblower, that language is kind of weird too, right? You should be what's called a righteous man. Right? You should be called a savior instead of calling you rat and a whistleblower.
It stems from the fact that us as a people, generally speaking, don't know our history. So we're not proud of ourselves. So it's easier to self-hate. So it's easier to.
But that's what I was getting to with the whole slave game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's why we stay like that. Whereas if you look at the other cultures, you look at an Italian, they'll be talking about Columbus and this and that and whatever. For us, most of us can go back to slavery, and we can go back to
That's all we know.
That's not fine.
That's where they start teaching us. That's where most of us know from, right?
Yeah.
So when you look at all the rest of the cultures, they'll tell you about thousands of years. Like I had this one European friend and his girl, she brought a book to his house, and it was like her family tree. And she's going through this thing, I'm talking like 10, 20 generations deep. And I just looked at this, and I was like, yo, do you know how amazing this is? She's like, oh, it's just, no. Like, she didn't care, not that she didn't care, but it wasn't a big deal to her. And I told her, I said, you know what, honestly, on my mom, I don't know anybody who knows more than maybe 4. Like, of my people, I don't know anybody who knows past their great-grandparents or something. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, in my family, I'm like, okay, I know my grandparents, I know my great-grandparents. Maybe I can go find some information about the ones after that. After that, I don't really know people who know that. You know what I'm saying? And there probably is. I don't know that I know them, and I don't know that they know that. And that's the problem. Like, for her, it was such a nonchalant thing because all my friends have these. It's That's the difference I find with our people compared to like the rest of the countries, which is why it's easier for us to don't snitch. We're gonna stay in this culture because that's all we know, right?
Mhm.
Cognitive dissonance. You don't want to learn more than what we are.
Sorry, sister, but I wanted you to finish exactly what, can you finish your,
Oh, yeah, so I was saying, like, I was holding off on doing this because of that situation. And then you're saying that this is like a process, like, to learn and understand this type of stuff before you really jumped into it. The only reason why I feel a sense of urgency now is because of like what they're trying to do with the mandatory vaccines. But then you're also saying like it's not something you just do for one thing and then bounce back, but like, you know. So I was like, I don't know if there's like anything I can do for this process, like with like my wording now, or.
Well, one of the things is going over the UN Declaration of Rights and the UN Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People and the American Declaration of the Rights and Duties of Man. So that's sort of gonna fast track you in your mindset to what it means to have rights, what rights are, what they are, and you knowing them is how you have them. You know what I mean? So when we look at, for example, with the stuff that's going on, out here, right? Like if you see on the window, we have the notice, a mask or whatever like that. We have the notice that you're gonna get tested if you come in here. Make sure you don't have whatever like that, because that's gonna make these people not bother us. It's not that we're down with something. You know what I mean? Yeah, like you know what I mean. We know ourselves. We don't have anything, so it shouldn't be any issue, right? As far as we're concerned, the out there people. Well, if you're a business, you could only do this and you could only do that. You can't sell this, you can't sell that, da 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 da. Well, whatever. It is what it is. You know what I mean? But these are things that they've been doing. The crack scene is the flu shot, which is the whatever shot they had before that, which is the stuff they had before that, which is the stuff they had before that. It's the same thing. They're just pushing the envelope to see where the people are at, because they know that the people's minds are in a place where they can just go like this, and then everybody's going to be thinking something crazy. You know what I mean? So, like I was saying, that's why I brought the example of the brother with the exemption. He's works in that field, and he's not doing no tests. Not because he said I'm not doing a test, because there's a process for everything. And the process where he was at is that he's put it in writing and give it to Human Resource Department. The Human Resource Department got his stuff and they put it in his file, and that was that. No debating, no back and forth, no, well, what is this? None of that. Put the stuff in his file, and then now he goes around his workplace and he doesn't have nothing. He's not getting no tests. He's not getting no crack scene, and they can't do anything about it, because in his realm there's a way to deal with it. You know what I mean? Just like Mom was saying, you go to the store, you do like this with your shirt, go in there, buy your stuff, and then you leave the spot. That ain't no mask. You know what I mean? How come that's not anti-masker? The guy who put a shirt on or tie a bandana on or whatever. How come? Because that's not a mask. That's not a mask, really.
I'll say this to you. You go in there with your shirt up like that, everyone's staring at your cock.
Oh, that's cool. They can stare all they want. You know what I mean? They can stare all they want. You got eyes.
I can go in there and as soon as I pass, I clear them.
Yeah. Because what are they gonna say? It's not a mask.
You can tie a mask on your face.
Yeah.
You do that a couple of years back.
It's not happening. It's not happening. Yeah.
You could do that.
Yeah.
Is it secret or is it supposed to happen? Because like Dr. said, all nations supposed to stop, so it's not.
No. I mean, I'm talking about the mask. I'm saying like if you, when I was doing contracting, we were doing painting. The mask that we wear is more, you know,
Yeah.
So you can look at people and say, okay, you know, when they have in the hospitals, they put on the whole suit. Because, all right, this is toxic, this, that, and the other.
Right.
They have like, you know, they have all these different, like, you're in the military, they give you the gas mask.
Two bars.
If you're from
You
state,
get them, I think there's 20
yeah, we
dollars.
do these something. They're
Another
saying
five.
this is supposed to be this big deadly thing that everybody's scared of, and they do these little flimsy dollar store masks. Like, you know, it's like, so this is supposed to protect me. Like, I was watching on Eddie Griffin. He's like, no.
Yeah, Eddie Griffin was killing him.
If you can smell your fart wearing a mask, it ain't safe.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, look at these things are flimsy. Like,
Yeah.
It's formality, it's formality.
Yeah.
I saw,
Go ahead, sorry.
I saw somebody, like, and it's a video, it could be fake everywhere, but the lady went in the store, she had no mask on, and they told her, you had to put a mask on. She just took her underwear off, and put it on her head like that, and she said.
No problem.
And she went in.
No problem. That's where it's at.
But that's what I'm saying, you can put anything on your head, I just, that makes no sense. Because what is that protecting you from?
it's just liability.
Yeah, it's not a protection thing. That's all.
They don't care about that. They just care that nothing happens in the air that it can be blamed on them.
Yeah.
Because if they don't do that, and then something happens in that place, now all of a sudden it's them who's liable for that. That's really what they're doing. Because at my house, near my house, there's a grocery store that I go to. They have there's usually someone sitting there at the door, and they'll ask you, you have any symptoms, blah blah blah. There's a sign there, and it's to the point where, like, I mean, I know a lot of them because I go in there a lot. So I'll go there, and it's like they went from, do you have any, this, have you traveled, have you this, and they're asking all these questions. Now I go in there, it's just like,
Not up there.
and I just walk, and as I'm going, they didn't even say anything. I just shake my head and just keep walking. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not for them to actually find out. It's for them to say that they did it. So if anything happens, it's not their fault.
It's not on them.
I went the other mask, the other one, the shield.
Yeah.
I went to this woman, and you guys, you can't come here. I said, still, my face is covered. They say wear a mask or come. My face is covered.
Yeah.
So I went in this woman and I shopped. And I know that someone was following me, right?
Yeah.
They don't mind. And then I got to the cashier, I think the owner or manager came and said, miss, you should wear a mask. I said, excuse me, I'm the cashier. No, my face is covered. He said, I have to report this. And I said, go ahead, report it. I don't know what he's trying to say. He has to report them because I came with, I didn't have a mask on. I gotta forget that.
Yeah, but that's the thing we were talking about, that the people become the police.
Exactly.
And then they have the people policing themselves. And then police they even the girl. Now when last you see a police? Where they at? Where they at?
You see how this thing where you use it in your hand? I mean, we know from everything to wash your hand. We back home and go over the way they say, come for some food. We just brush out like this, come and eat. Right? So that's what they put in it is just killing whatever. I have not bought anything since the COVID. We had one little thing and that was it. I don't wash my hands separate. Maybe I don't want to wash my hands, put some salt in my hand. That's it. I'm
What
here.
people taught us home, you go outside, you come in.
So you're not sick.
Simple things.
Nothing's happening to you and
Simple.
the people that are well covered,
Basic.
the other one is getting the
You go washroom, you come out, you wash your hands.
Simple, basic.
Sometimes this is where the whole folks.
I am not washing my hands extra than what I need to do. Right? Not buying these things, not wearing these things, I'm sorry.
Islam Mars.
But it was very informative and
Next week, rain permitting, we're gonna be doing our summer solstice walk. Walk/ritual is gonna be at Rouge Hill GO Station. So we'll get the information out in the email this week. Yeah, we'll get the information out this week. But yeah, we'll get closed out and go from there. Peace to all Moors. Let's just rise and close out. Face the east, 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace.
Peace.
Freedom.
Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
My guide.
And my salvation.
My salvation.
By night.
By night.
And by day.
By day.
The Holy Prophet.
The Holy Prophet.
Wujwali. Islam.
This track, I know you guys are gonna like. It has like it shows you Grenada when we were there.
Islam was.
Grenada there, Grenada in the Caribbean.
Yeah, exactly.